my friends? We are back at it on the SuccessFlow podcast, and there's been quite a bit of traveling going on this month of July with both myself and Phil. And because of all of that travel, I'm actually going to be riding solo today, and we're going to be talking about some various tips and tricks on how life design works in order to elevate your perception of success and happiness, and how to do that through opportunity awareness. What are the ways you can build a foundation for who you are, where you're going, what you want your ultimate vision to look like, and your overall purpose in order to drive that meaning to continue the motivation of building the life that you want for yourself as well as for your family. And these are some of the things that I spend a lot of time and involved with through the Oppo Flow mindset and the workshops that I do, which our next workshop is coming up August 15th in Phoenix, Arizona. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a sneak peek of some of the things that we talk about and how we work through some of that life design piece. And it's going to be a lot of fun diving into that in a couple of weeks, but I'm excited to share some nuggets and some of the things that I do in my personal life, as well as sharing some stories of other people and how they find that alignment and that happiness and that success and whatever their perception is. It's all about elevating those to a level that you are just excited about, and you're waking up every single day and you're ready to rock it. You're ready to kill it and crush the day. You're not worried. You're not stressed. You know, those things will happen and those things will come your way. But when you find alignment and avoiding the chaos, you're not saying yes to everything. You have to figure out exactly who you are through your personal core values. You have to figure out exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it by taking your passion to purpose and finding that meaning. You have to figure out exactly where you're going and how to get there by defining your lofty goals and your strong targets. And so it's exciting when you start putting some of this stuff down on paper. And I think it really does just start with defining your personal core values. I mean, if you're a business owner or any Fortune 500 large business, any business really, small business, it doesn't matter. They have spent a lot of time and money on defining their business core values. Why do they spend so much time on defining 3 to 5 core values for the business? Well, a couple of reasons. One is for the marketplace to understand who they are and what they're all about, what they can share out into the world on how well they take care of their customers, their staff, and the products that they develop, whether it's innovation or a core value is leading with heart or just integrity and things like that, those buzzwords. So if it's important for a business to define core values, to remain in alignment with who they are as a business, sharing their story with the marketplace, and also helps them build the foundation for their staff so they hire the right people that align with their core values. If it's so important for them, then why haven't we defined the core values for ourselves, our personal core values? That way we can say yes to the things that align with who we are, truly who we are, versus saying yes to everything, trying to throw spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. So the way to define your personal core values is finding those buzzwords. Just like I mentioned, Google a bunch of different buzzwords and core values, whether it's you're dependable, whether you're efficient, you strive for excellence, you're loyal, maybe it's a family first mentality, whatever it is, find some buzzwords that really resonate with you and relate with how you are in your life. Once you've circled those buzzwords and kind of jotted some down, reflect on a pivotal moment in your life, something that really just, if that moment didn't happen, you wouldn't be where you are today. Or if it did, since it did happen in a positive direction, is there something that could have happened differently? So reflecting on that pivotal moment, who were you with? Where were you? Can you visualize the environment? What exactly do you vividly remember about that moment? What happened in that moment, and what drove you to say yes to that action or no to that action that changed the trajectory of your life in an incredible way? And then list a couple people that you admire and why. What are their characteristics? Why do they act accordingly? I know I'm a part of a men's group, a mastermind group, and there's a bunch of guys in that group that I look up to. I'm surrounding myself around people that inspire and motivate me. And I'm also putting in the work to try and be the inspiration and motivation for them. And so list 2 people that you admire and why. And for example, we've got a guy who is a heavy, super healthy guy, works out all the time. And when I see him post a story or something that he's, just got done with his workout, well, dang, I admire that. I admire that dedication, that consistency, and that's stuff that I try to build into my life as well. So list 2 people you admire the most and why. They can be personal relationships. They can be professional relationships. They could be people you don't even know and you just see and follow on social media that you respect, that you find to be successful. And once you determine how they would act in certain situations, almost like a WWJD, what would Jesus do? Figure out who those two people are and what would they do in certain situations, and emulate your life around them. And then defining your core values. You want to have a good 3 to 5, maybe 6 that you can define and figure out which core values are your unwavering commitments, your non-negotiables. So let's say a core value for you is family first. And you're so focused on family and everything that you do is surrounded around family. That is a great core value. But there's going to be things that come up that are going to kind of make you question, wow, shoot, is this a family first decision, or is this for myself, or is this a decision that I got to make to help someone else? For example, let's say you have a family trip planned, a weekend, and it's nothing extravagant. You're just taking the day to go hiking, or you're going to go have a picnic or whatever, right? You're obviously in the summer, you're not in Arizona because you're not going to have a picnic outside. But let's say you're going to the beach or whatever, wherever you live, and you all of a sudden have this plan with your family, and then the week leading up to that day that you have planned, you got an old college buddy that calls you up and says, "Hey, let's go golfing, or let's go out to eat, or let's go to happy hour, or whatever. I'm in town. I haven't been in town in a couple of years, and I'd love to see you." Now, if family first is a core value, it doesn't mean that you wouldn't consider hanging out with your buddy that you haven't seen in a long time. You may ask your spouse or your kids or whatever, and just say, "Hey, John's in town and he asked me to go golfing. Would it be cool if I did this?" And we planned the following weekend to do this family day. Now, if your family first core value was an unwavering commitment, a non-negotiable, that just means that you wouldn't even ask your family about that decision. You would just tell your buddy John, like, "Hey, John, I got something planned with my family this Saturday. I'm bummed I won't be able to see you, but let's plan something in the future. Next time you're out, or next time I'm out and see you, we'll definitely connect and hang out." So that's the difference between a core value, family first, and then is that a unwavering non-negotiable, meaning, am I going to ask my family to talk about hanging out with John, or am I going to not even have the conversation because it's an unwavering commitment, a non-negotiable? So you want to come up with 4 to 5, 6 of those, and then jot them down and put them up on a whiteboard or put them up somewhere near you that you always have them ingrained in you. So when things come your way, and be like, does this align with my core values? If one of my core values is work ethic, and I get invited to go spend the night out with friends at a bar and we're drinking or whatever, and I know tomorrow I've got some work to do, I got a project that I got to take care of, am I going to say yes to going out and hanging out with friends, or am I going to say no because it doesn't align and core value is work ethic, and I'm going to focus on knocking out the projects and things that I have tomorrow because I know I'll be fresh and ready to roll? So those are the differences. You want to have those core values defined so you're not living in chaos and saying yes to everything because you feel bad. You find alignment by developing your personal core values. So once you figured out who you are, then the next step is finding that purpose, that meaning. What are the things that I love to do? What are my passions? Everything that I absolutely love to do, that then I can translate that into purpose by making an impact on others through those things. So for example, what are the things that bring you the most joy? What are you really great at? What was your childhood dream? What are the things that you did when you were a kid that you can get back to doing? And then how can you make an impact on others through those things? One example for me was I loved to write when I was a kid. I loved to jot down in my journal. I'd write short stories and then I'd share the moral of the story. And, I just really loved writing. And I remember I had a buddy in elementary school who was the illustrator and I was the author. And we just had a lot of fun just creating and building stories. And so I got away from that as I was building my business, and, life happens and you start the family, and I just wasn't writing for many, many years. And I decided to start an email newsletter. I call it the Storybook, and it's where I'm able to share a quick story and then a mindset shift that aligns with that story. So kind of like the moral of the story and how you can build that into your life. And it's called the Flow Storybook. That has brought so much creativity and passion, taken my passion of writing and given purpose to make an impact on others, because it's free. You can subscribe into your email and you get a weekly mindset shift. You get a weekly story to read that helps you going personally and professionally. And that has really driven a lot of purpose in my life because, number one, it's weekly. So I have consistency there, right? and I have a little bit of accountability for the subscribers, are they going to care if I don't post the same time every single week? They may not, but I think they might care. So I'm going to continue posting, because even if they don't care, I think they might care that if I don't show up, that's not going to be great. And so I'm going to continue putting in that work. So I'm going to take my passions. What are the things that I love to do, and how can I make an impact on others and create purpose out of that? So I still have my job, I still have my business, I still have my family, and I still have all those things. But what are the things that I personally love to do that I can leverage to make purpose in my life to make an impact on others? Now, ask yourself, what are you most excited about in the future? Let's say you had all of the resources, all of the money in the world, you had all of the tools, all of the systems in place. Think about what you would do and who would call you a legend for that. Like, man, that is awesome that you just did this thing, or you're doing this thing, and the impact that you're making. Now, of course, you're not going to have all of the resources right now. You're not going to have all of the finances. You're not going to have all of the tools and bells and whistles, and you've got to grow to that. So start baby stepping it, backing into what that purpose is, and make it massive, and then back into that and start now to creating that purpose. So that's where the massive transformative purpose comes in. There's a guy named Peter Diamandis, co-authored a book called Abundance with Stephen Kotler. And it's a deep, deep dive into living a life of an abundant life. And he came up with this term called massive transformative purpose. And what you want to do is you want to make it so big that you can build everything from there and live up to that purpose. Even though it's so grand that you may never get there, it's like shooting from the moon and landing amongst the stars type of stuff. So massive. What is the scope? Are you impacting millions of people? Are you impacting your local community? Are you impacting a nonprofit through, who are the types of people that you want to make an impact are? So consider the scope and the impact you want to make. And then what's transformative about it? How do you change the status quo and make positive change to achieve long term? So you got to figure out what's transformative about that purpose that you're making. And then what is the purpose? What is the reasons why? Consider why you want to strive for this and who you want to serve. This is your ultimate why. So then you put it together in an MTP, massive transformative purpose. And that way you have this mission statement essentially for yourself. And then you find alignment through there. So for instance, OppoFlow, my personal mission statement, encompasses many different things. It allows me to create and do things on a wide scale, because my MTP is inspiring millions with a mindset shift of creating opportunity stories for themselves in order to achieve their own success. Now, that was a long version of it, but inspiring millions with a mindset shift towards their own success is the short version. So whatever I do, whatever I say yes to, is it going to help me on my mission to inspire millions with a mindset shift and creating better opportunity awareness? And that's kind of how I live my life and have developed my own life design. And I use that MTP all the way through in order to find alignment with the decisions that I make. Now, once you figure out who you are and you figure out what you're all about and the meaning, now you got to figure out where you're going, right? This is all great stuff to build the foundation. Now you got to figure out where you're going, and that's done through your ultimate vision, right? What do you want the rest of your life to look like? What do you want the next 10 years of your life to look like? Your ultimate vision is, what can I vividly see? Where am I living? Who am I with? Who are the people that are around me that I love to be doing the work that I'm doing, that I love to be doing it with these people? And how do I correlate that from personal and professional and build that work-life integration? So in personal, what are the relationships that I want to have? What does my health look like? What are the adventures that I want to take? And in professional, what are the financial situations? Am I living debt-free? Am I okay with debt because I'm growing a new business? What is the work that I'm doing? What are the accolades that I have, right? And so you want to define all of these areas and create the ultimate vision for yourself. Now, the easiest way to create the ultimate vision to start is, what are the things that you don't want, right? What do you not want that you currently have right now that you don't want in your life 10 years from now? So for example, maybe you're not the healthiest person in the world and you don't want to be unhealthy 10 years from now. Well, you can't wait to start on your health journey in 8 years to get there in 10 years. You got to start that right now. Maybe you have a lot of debt right now and you don't want debt 10 years from now. So what are the things that you can put together, a plan, a financial plan, and maybe you need to seek someone out for help with that, but putting together that plan to figure out how to get on a path towards debt-free living 10 years from now, right? So you want to figure out, what are the things I need to start doing? What are the things I got to stop doing? What are my habits that are bringing me back down, that are not good for me, that are getting in my way, that are deterring me from my mission? And what are the things I need to continue doing? What are all the things I'm doing right? There's a really cool story. I shared it in the storybook, one of the write-ups last week. And the crow is the only bird daring enough to peck at an eagle. When an eagle flies low, the crow gets on top of its back and starts biting at its neck. The eagle doesn't pay any attention to the crow whatsoever. It's undeterred. It continues on its mission. It doesn't give any energy or any thought to that crow. It continues flying higher to an elevation that only the eagle can survive. At that height, the crow is no longer able to breathe. It loses oxygen. It's not able to sustain its breath. And so the crow ultimately falls off the eagle's back. And all the eagle did was just spread its wings and soar higher to new heights. So as you are going to new heights and you're building a life design that's elevated your perception of success and happiness, the crow can resemble the bad habits that you have in your life, the things that are going to deter you from remaining on your mission. So focusing on how do I continue soaring higher, 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 and knowing that those bad habits are pecking at me because that's all I've done for most of my life. I've got to figure out how to achieve that identity shift in order to soar at a level where those bad habits are no longer there in my life. And that a lot of it has to do with health, or it has to do with being responsive, or it has to do with just being loyal to the people that are around you. And so you got to work on those habits and start small. It's not a big, grand, all of a sudden I'm cutting everything out, cold turkey, and bam, I'm now living this life. That's very challenging to do. And so this life design purpose and this life design work that you put in is all about taking baby steps and letting it compound over time, right? So pick one thing that you can eliminate and work towards eliminating that thing first. Then everything will compound over time to lead to your ultimate vision once you've defined exactly where it is you want to go. So define who you are through your core values, define what you're striving for and the meaning that you have in your life through your massive transformative purpose. And then you define your ultimate vision so that way you know where you're going. From there, you can find alignment. And then we can really start putting in the work by creating our lofty goals, our strong targets, our daily routines, and the things that we have and building that consistency in order achieving that success and happiness on a daily basis. All right. So these are a lot of the things that we work through in the workshop, but I wanted to give you some ideas on how to get started now and through that passion to purpose, your core values, and your ultimate vision. Now, once you've figured all of that out and you've jotted it down, focusing on 5 areas of your life will help you and remain in alignment and avoid that chaos. Now, I'm an acronym junkie. It helps people remember things, right? Kind of like never eat soggy waffles. It's like the north, east, south, and west on what we learned when we were kids. These acronyms and these word plays help us remember things for longevity, and it becomes memorable for your business, for yourself. And so I call this one March Forward towards Success and Happiness. And March is an acronym. And so it starts with your mindset. That's the M in March. Mindset. You have to come in every single day knowing that there's fresh opportunities and for you to act on that could potentially change your life in an incredible way, right? So knowing that there's opportunity every single day, everywhere, you have to be clear-minded and be ready to rock every single day. So you have to wake up with the mindset of positivity, mindset of I will win the day. A morning mantra helps with this. A good morning routine helps with this, right? Waking up and doing 5-10 minutes breath work, waking up and giving yourself a morning mantra of I am capable, right? I am confident in all that I do. I am jumping at opportunity that aligns with my purpose. When you have these I am statements, it subconsciously gets your brain working in a way to be more aware of the things that you're capable of and the things that you will see throughout the day. Now, coming in with a positive mindset of saying, I get to versus I have to. Like, okay, I have to wake up and go to work. No, you don't have to wake up and go to work. You get to wake up and go to work. You get to be a resource for somebody. You don't have to go to work. You get to go to work, right? You get to be a resource. You get to be helpful. You get to look at the little things throughout the day that you've accomplished and reflect back on those and be like, dang, I did pretty damn good today. right? If one of your core values is excellence, you look at everything that you did throughout the day, no matter if you like it or not, you're doing it because you have to. It gets you to the next level. Because there's always going to be things that we don't want to do, and there's always going to be things that we don't like to do. But when you look at it as almost like a game, and you look at it as how can I win the day? How many points am I going to get by saying, yes, I'm going to knock this out and I'm going to do it in excellence or with excellence? So I get to versus I have to. I have to go to this coffee meeting. No, you get to potentially develop a new relationship. So coming into every single day with the mindset of open mind, purposeful work, and recognizing that opportunity is everywhere, and having a mindset of positivity and choosing happiness every single day will start you off on the right foot. The next one of the acronym MARCH is A, that's adventure. We have to take adventures. We can't be sitting behind a desk all day long. We can't be sitting around doing brainless activity all day long. We have to be able to take adventures. And that can be either a big long vacation to Hawaii or Europe. We all love that. Now, that's not always possible. We know that those are big item trips, and those are great. If you can take a big trip once a year, twice a year, then those are fantastic, right? To just completely unplug and enjoy time away with family, with friends, wherever you're doing, take those big adventures. But I'm talking about the daily adventures, the adventures that you can take on a daily basis within your mind and within your workday or within your weekend, within your personal life. The daily adventures that you can take a 5-minute break and just a quick breath work or meditation and be like, and just taking a breath and slowing it down just a little bit. When you're thinking in your mind, you're closing your eyes and you just visualize yourself somewhere, taking an adventure, a walk through the forest and just a serene, calm lake behind you. And you have the eagles swooping and soaring down to catching the fish. And you can hear the wind gusting through the pines. And you can just take that walk and you got your dog on a leash and you're just enjoying nature and you're just enjoying that time. And you do this during perhaps a stressful situation that you're going through, and you take that time away and you take that adventure. That way you come back and you come back a little bit calmer than you were before, and you're able to knock out that next task at hand. Everyone has a battery capacity. Everyone has a battery capacity of every single day, whether it's a big battery or a small battery, and finding out or figuring out which capacity you have will help you find alignment and happiness throughout your day, knowing how many breaks you need to take and for how long to recharge your battery. Now, you don't want to abuse it and say, oh, well, I've got a small battery. I need to take 4,000 breaks. Well, maybe take a break for 5 minutes every hour and see how that works, right? Because you do have a job to do and you do have things that you need to take care of. You don't want to procrastinate and you don't want to deviate from the things that you need to take care of by not doing the work. You have to put in the work, but you got to find out what are the adventures I can take on a daily basis to build efficient work so I can do more in less time and be able to knock out the things I need to knock out. Now, those adventures could also mean being adventurous, challenging yourself on purpose, your massive transformative purpose. It doesn't mean challenging yourself on purpose, like because I'm like on purpose, like I am going to do this right now, and I'm going to do it because I thought of it and I'm going to do it. It's challenge yourself on purpose, meaning does it align with where I'm going? I'm not going to jump out of a plane just because I want to, or maybe you do jump out of a plane and you have your parachute because you want to, because it's an adventure that it's a thrill-seeking adventure and you really want to do it. But meaning on purpose, what are the things that align with what you're trying to do? If I'm trying to inspire millions with a mindset shift, I'm going to challenge myself on purpose by getting in front of more people with a speaking engagement and, putting together a presentation and spending a lot of time perfecting that message. So that way I can challenge myself and improve my skill set in order to get in front of more people that will help me achieve my purpose. Does that make sense? So challenge yourself on purpose, and that way you will find alignment towards your perception of success and happiness. All right. So the R in March Forward is relationships. Relationships are key. It's everything. Your network is your net worth. You can't go out at this alone. Yes, you want to work on yourself. Yes, you want to become the best version of yourself, and no one's going to be able to do that for you. But when you have alignment in your life, then you're going to focus on relationships in order to drive that success, whether it's your personal life. Audit your personal relationships. Who are the crows that are bringing you down, that are pecking at you all the time? Right. And so you want to be the eagle. And when you're soaring to new heights, you may have people that are in your circle before that don't necessarily align anymore. And you've got to be okay auditing those personal relationships, because soon when you're going to new levels, they may not like change. They may not like that you're making positive change in your life. And until they decide to make those changes themselves, they might peck at you, and you've got to not let them distract you. You got to remain steadfast and undeterred. So audit your personal relationships is key. So that way you can focus on the mission at hand. Your professional relationships. Who are the people that can help drive success professionally? We grow our business through referral, and we don't do a ton of cold calling. Now, it's a great way to grow your business, but I'll tell you what, when you can grow your business through warm referral, whether it's through partners or clients or networks, communities that you're a part of, masterminds, etc., you do that through warm professional relationships. It's checking in on those people and say, hey, how can I help you today? How can I be a resource? It's like giver's gain mentality. What are the things that you can give to those relationships? Because the more you give, it'll come back to you tenfold. There's actually a study. Harvard came out with a study on personal relationships and the correlation it has with longevity of life and happiness. They actually built it's called the Happy Lab now at Harvard. So they did this study back in, this is a long time ago. I don't remember exactly the decade, but I want to say 20s or 30s. And they took 1,300 men, and they started with men because I guess Harvard was a school full of men. It actually wasn't a co-ed school way back then. And so they took a study and they tracked their success, their happiness, the things that they did in life. They asked questions like, what is your satisfaction level of your relationships? What are the healthy habits that you have? What are the things that you're doing? And as they got older, they started tracking this with their spouses and their kids and all this kind of stuff. So it became a full human study. And what they found was super interesting. They looked at when these people were 50 years old, and they asked them, what is your satisfaction level of your relationships? And they also did the health examinations. By the time they were 80, the ones that were still living happy, healthy, and focused and enjoying their lives were the ones that had the highest scores of their satisfaction level of their relationships. It wasn't necessarily the cholesterol levels of their health. It was the satisfaction level of their relationships that correlated directly with the success or happiness level that they had later on in life. So developing strong, encouraging, positive relationships is absolutely key. All right. So the C in March Forward, C, communication. Communication is also super important in developing those relationships. It's super important in developing and laying down the expectation with those around you as you're making those positive changes. So communicating with people well will help you develop them to know, like, and trust you. They will want to work with you. But you have to there's some tips and tricks that you can do, whether you're in a sales role or in a position of being an entrepreneur and you're trying to grow your business. When you're talking with a fast talker and you're talking super slow with a fast talker, their brain is firing super fast. You're going to bore them to death by talking slow. So talk a little bit faster, pick up your pace, and now you guys can have a really cool conversation. You guys are going back and forth, and all of a sudden you're vibing, and now you're like, hey, man, I think this guy's really cool, and I think we can work together. Or maybe if you're talking with a slow talker and you're talking too fast, all of a sudden everything that you're saying is going way over their head, and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't keep up with this person. So just slow your pace down, and you can have a little bit more of an educated conversation and more coherent, and they can understand what you're saying. And you be the listener versus the talker is absolutely key. You being the one that's interested, not interesting, meaning you're interested in what they're talking about. You're not trying to be interesting to them. So the more interested you are in someone else, will find alignment, and that builds that them to know, and you build that likability, that credibility, and then trust, and they'll want to work with you. Now, on a personal level, who are the people that you're closest with, right? You've audited your personal relationships. You want to maintain those relationships. Maybe it's just a quick text, or maybe even an email or a phone call, right? And just say, hey, I'm thinking about you. Reach out to those people and communicate with them what you're going through, if you're going through anything that you're struggling with, because you can have a shoulder and have people that will be there to help you. If it's a peer group, a mastermind group, which, by the way, we're launching that in the fall, which I'm super excited about. Having community and communication is absolutely key. And that way you can have those people that you can help hold you accountable and also continue on your path towards success and happiness. All right. Lastly, March Forward, the H in March, hands down, this is the most important thing, is your health. You cannot achieve the things that you want to achieve if you're not healthy. I can't stress this enough. You've got to look at the things that you're doing in your life that are bad habits that will directly correlate to bringing down your health to a level that you're not going to have longevity, or you're not going to be able to think clearly. These are things like smoking. These are things like drinking a bunch of, indulging in alcohol. These are things like mental health and things that you're consuming, right? And so how do I focus on bringing clarity? How do I focus on feeling good? How do I focus on feeling strong? And so you have to do that, whether it's a diet, whether it's a fitness routine, whether it's strength training, whether it's just meditation or morning breath work or whatever. Start somewhere and create a healthy routine that you can stick with. But start small. If you're not already in this world, if you're not already on a health journey, start small. Maybe it's just eating whole foods versus going out to fast food restaurants all the time. And then all of a sudden you start eating healthy and you gain more energy. And now you're like, maybe I'll start working out a little bit. I'll, find a personal trainer, or maybe I'll just subscribe to some YouTube channels that give me some at-home exercises, or maybe I'll go to the local gym down the street and I'll just start walking on a treadmill. Or maybe I'll just pick up a rucksack, a weighted vest, and go walk around the block with my dog. I'm giving the dog a walk every single day anyways, but if I put 40 pounds on me or start with 25 pounds, you're going to break a sweat and you're going to get your heart rate up, and you're just going to start that compounded health journey to build that strength. And then all of a sudden you've got mental clarity, you've got physical strength, and now you've got confidence. And that is everything that you need in order to achieve everything that you're trying to achieve, because the only thing that's holding you back is you. And when you have confidence, and when you're happy and you've got opportunity awareness and you're ready to get after it because you feel good and you look good, and all of a sudden everything that you're doing in your life is in alignment, sky's the limit, guys. Sky is the limit. And then remembering to be happy that you're on the right path. You're not waiting to your ideal state for happiness. You're not waiting to achieve your ultimate vision for happiness. You're on the path. You're putting in the work. You're leveraging the people around you. You're doing everything, all the right things that you can to focus on being as happy and healthy and focused and striving towards that success in your life. That allows you to march forward with your mindset, the adventures, your relationships, through your communication and your health towards your perception of success and happiness. So that's what I got for you today. I hope that was enjoyable. Hope you got some good tips and tricks, some things that you can work on if you need to. If you're already in alignment, the whole goal is to eliminate the chaos, not saying yes to everything, saying no to more things, but you got to know what to say no to. You're not saying no just for the sake of it. You got to figure out who you are, where you're going, how to get there, and what that purpose is. What's that meaningful why you want to be there and why you're striving for these things in order to achieve your perception of success and happiness. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back at you. Phil is back next week. We might even have guests coming on next week. I don't know if it'll be that soon, but we're going to have some guests definitely lined up here coming up. And we'll be back at you on the SuccessFlow podcast next week. Like, subscribe, follow, and we'll see you soon.